Welcome back to another FPL video. Today I'm discussing 10 players to buy, hold, sell and skip in this transfer tips video. If there are any other players I haven't discussed today that you want to maybe delve into, then be sure to do so in the comment section down below. On screen you can see the league code, and there's also going to be an auto join link in every single one of my FPL videos and streams, so be sure to click on that and you automatically join the league. And a huge shout out goes to all the channel members, patrons and subscribers as we hit 20,000 subscribers yesterday. We've gained around 1,000 in the last couple of days, so the growth has been insane. So huge thank you to those that have been sticking by the channel for a very long time. Let's get straight into this, talking about 10 players to buy, hold, sell and skip. And if you disagree with anything, be sure to let me know and we can have a constructive conversation in the comment section down below. But let's get straight into this and let's try to get this video to 300 likes. Where else can we start than Julian Alvarez, the most transferred in player this week? Let's hope he breaks that curse, because I've discussed this several times in my streams. Basically, the most transferred in player every single week has gone on to blank, and Alvarez is currently on course to be the most transferred in player. He was already in my list to buy before his brace against Werner Zvezda, as Man City made a comeback and won 3-1 in the Champions League last night. He is 6.8 million, but he's about to go up in price to 6.9. His ownership is close to 22%. He's got 2 goals and 5 assists in the Premier League. His expected goal involvement is 3.14, so there is a degree of overperformance, but I still think he's a really good asset. He's a good finisher, so naturally he will overperform his expected goals and also the XGI. And with the quality of players around him, including Erling Haaland, who can normally finish chances, it's only natural for him to maybe not have the greatest underlying numbers. He's got 37 FPL points. Only Erling Haaland has more amongst forwards. I think he's a top option. And in terms of other stats, his XG is 1.9, so nothing particularly great. He's had 3 big chances, but what I really like about Julian Alvarez is his creativity. He's only created 1 big chance, but he's also made 16 key passes. So I think Alvarez is a really good purchase. You look at some of these fixtures as well. Nottingham Forest, I know they've improved this season, but I think Man City will still beat them quite comfortably, and Alvarez has a very good chance of producing a massive return there. And even in those difficult games like Arsenal away, Brighton at home and Man United away, I still think the Argentine is capable of some great things. So if you're looking for a striker and you might need extra funds, so you're going for a cheaper forward to then invest elsewhere, I think Alvarez is one of the best forwards to buy in FPL. Sven Botman finally rewarded owners with his first return since Game Week 1, a 9-pointer, so he got 3 bonus points, and that's 4 for the entire season so far. He's got 18 points overall, and it's not a great start for Newcastle or for Sven Botman, but at 4.5 million with these fixtures coming up, it's only natural. We always kind of mark this period of Game Week 6 onwards where Botman is definitely a buy, and even if he doesn't keep a clean sheet against Sheffield United away, he's got a good chance in the following fixtures, particularly Burnley at home and potentially Wolves away. But I think Botman's a good long-term acquisition, and for those of you like myself who've got Rico Henry, who's unfortunately out for the entire season due to an ACL, then I would go for Sven Botman as a like-for-like replacement. His ownership is increasing. It's now 15.2%. He's got 1 assist for the campaign. He's not going to score many goals. I know he scored a few for Lille a few years back, but I think he's going to mainly get bonus points and the occasional assist here and there. So don't expect too much in terms of attack and returns. If you want that, then maybe go for Kieran Trippier. I'm still a bit concerned about Newcastle in terms of rotation. You see that they're in the group of death in the Champions League. They were very lucky to get a draw last night against AC Milan, but they still managed to hold out for a clean sheet, and that's where Newcastle are at their best, when they're maybe getting dominated in a game, but they still manage to hold in and get that result and clean sheet even away from home, and that's why Sven Botman could be a fantastic purchase at just 4.5 million. At this point, I can see a lot of you saying, Dylan, you're absolutely insane. Why are you talking about holding a Man United attacker when they've lost 3 of their 5 opening games? And, you know, Rashford has been very disappointing, and all these other Man United assets have also been the same. And I actually sold Rashford a few weeks ago. I was talking about selling him, but if you've kept them until now, I would not sell Rashford or Bruno Fernandes for that matter away to Burnley. I think that's a great fixture. You look at Matty Cash scoring a brace there, Heung-min Son scoring a hat-trick. I think Rashford could score 1 or 2 goals here and get his first double-digit return of the season. He has been disappointing, and even in these recent games against Arsenal and Brighton, I think Rashford has been far too selfish, but I also see him as the most dangerous Man United attacker. He's getting on the ball, he's breezing past players, and yes, he's being too selfish, but he's also still got the confidence to get past them and try to take matters into his own hands. I think he needs to strike that balance, because there are occasions where Højlund is basically in open space and he should get the pass. And I think once that all clicks, Rashford will be a good FPL option and Man United attackers will suddenly look pretty decent. Now, do I advocate a double up in their attack in the long term? No, even over the next 4 fixtures. But if you've got Bruno Fernandes and Rashford, I would hold both of them away to Burnley, despite the fact that a double up in their attack isn't ideal at this moment in time. I just think that Burnley fixture is far too good to turn down. Afterwards against Crystal Palace, yes, you could sell, to be fair, and then you've got Brentford at home. But against Burnley away, I would keep Rashford for at least one more game week. His ownership is 33%. He was a very template pick, and he still remains a fairly template pick, but his ownership has definitely gone down. He's only got 1 goal this season, 2 assists. His XGI is 3.42, so there is a bit of underperformance, arguably, but he is sort of matching those stats and also the goal output. He's only got 21 FPL points so far. He's got 3 big chances, 2 big chances created, 6 key passes, and he's also got 18 shots inside the box with 23 shots overall. So I think Rashford will deliver against Burnley. Let me know if you disagree on this pick, but I'm really looking at the fixture right in front of you. And if I had Marcus Rashford, I would not sell him ahead of Burnley away. I have used a similar logic for Onana, who has been a huge disappointment. A great return in Game Week 1, but ever since, just 0 or 2 pointers along the way. And he has made 20 saves so far in just 5 matches, but his underlying numbers in terms of how many clean sheets Man United are expected to keep are awful. They've conceded 10 big chances, and things aren't looking too good. You look at the expected goals conceded, 8.35. So United have had a torrid start to the season, one of their worst in Premier League history. But over the next 4 game weeks, I would expect Man United to keep 1 or 2 clean sheets. And I'm also looking at the alternatives in goal, and I don't see too many. And there are maybe 1 or 2 goalkeepers I would sell for sure this week, just because I just don't trust that team at all. With Man United, yes, they've been absolutely awful, but Varane and a few other players like Mason Mount are close to a return, and they could be available against Burnley away in Game Week 6. So I would keep Onana for now. He's about to go down in price, probably to 4.9 million. That's only going to be a matter of time. His ownership has also gone down quite significantly. Only 1 clean sheet, but I still think the points will come and some clean sheets as well. Now, long term, do I think Onana is the best goalkeeper? Definitely not, but I would give him a few more games and see how it goes. And also, just to reassess and then hopefully pick out the definitive best goalkeeper in FPL, because who do you go to? Maybe Leno and Areola and have that goalkeeper combination? I'll talk about this in the best wildcard team video. If this video reaches over 300 likes, then there will be a best wildcard team video for sure. You've also got Alisson, who's got good long-term fixtures, Fleckin, but with the injuries that Brentford have, I just don't really see an out-and-out really good goalkeeper option that I'd definitely sell Onana to. And you might also have other fires or maybe more upside moves to make in the outfield position, such as Ollie Watkins to Alvarez or Jackson to Alvarez. And that's why I would probably hold Onana at this moment in time. Of course, I do know some of you will disagree and you don't trust Man United at all, but I personally believe they will keep 1 or 2 clean sheets over the next 4 game weeks. This is a fairly simple one, but I'm seeing a lot of people in the streams ask me, should I sell Mbeumo? And my answer is no, I would hold him. Now, in terms of buying him, it's a bit more difficult because a lot of good fixtures have gone past already, but 3 of the next 4 games look really good on paper. Everton at home, Nottingham Forest away, and Burnley at home. And even in these sort of tougher games, I still think Brentford could score a goal and Mbeumo could be involved. He is 6.9 million. He went up in price the other day. His ownership is almost 30%. He's got 4 goals in 5 games. He's on penalties, of course, and his XG is 3.41, so really good numbers, and he's got 35 FPL points, so he's right up there in terms of points scored of any player. So I think Mbeumo is a really good hold, and he's also got some great underlying numbers elsewhere. 10 shots inside the box, he's also got 6 big chances, and I think Mbeumo is one of the best players at his price. So he might not be a buy at this moment in time, but he certainly is a hold, and I don't think it's worth selling him, and I think there are really rare cases where I do so, and even then, I'd probably just advocate to everyone watching to hold Mbeumo and enjoy the points. In the last couple of weeks, I was recommending to most people to keep Jackson because he had the fixtures and the underlying numbers that suggested he would eventually give some returns. A bit similar to Darwin Nunez last season, if you think about it. He is now at 7 million, so he has gone down in price and he's back to where he started in the season. His ownership is 16.1%. He's only got 1 goal and he's had 7 big chances and he's just not able to get the ball in the back of the net, basically. He's only scored against Luton Town, and Chelsea are looking decent in terms of their their build-up and a few different areas on the pitch, but they aren't able to score enough goals, and they aren't matching their expected goals conceded and expected goals numbers, and that is a big concern. It does point towards a lack of quality in the squad. There are a lot of young players, and it will come together, but it will take some time, and Chelsea, of course, are missing a lot of players due to injury. I think Nkunku could be a massive acquisition to Chelsea, and he could turn things around for them. But the reason why I'm talking about selling Jackson, despite him being so frustrating in front of goal, is because he's got 4 yellow cards already, all of them for dissent, arguing with the referee, and he's 1 yellow card away from suspension. So I would sell Jackson. You've got so many alternatives like Alvarez, Awani, Ollie Watkins even, not to mention there's so many others as well. Even Wiss is a decent option, and I just think it's not worth keeping Jackson at this moment in time. He could score in some of these fixtures, especially Burnley away in a few weeks' time, but the fixtures overall aren't great over the next 5, and Jackson isn't delivering on his numbers, and he's also a suspension risk. So there are so many reasons why you should sell Jackson. Of course, if you keep him in the end, you might be rewarded for your patience, but I think it's just a big risk to keep such an unreliable asset who's also at risk of a suspension, despite the really good numbers that are underlying, of course. 16 shots inside the box, an XG of over 3, and 7 big chances, 4 key passes, but it's not working at the moment. I think Jackson could become a decent striker in the future for Chelsea, but at this moment in time, I would sell the Senegalese forward. Martinelli owners, I absolutely sympathise with you because you had rotten luck, especially in Game Week 5. Martinelli scored, the goal was disallowed, and some people do argue they should have stood. And not only that, he gets subbed off minutes later. So I think you were very unlucky. You should have gotten something in that game. And his price has gone down to 7.9 million. His ownership is going down by the minute as well. It's around 9% at the time of this recording. He's produced no goals so far, 2 assists. His XGI is 1.09, and he's also got 16 FPL points. But you look at the fixtures coming up, and Martinelli can do well against absolutely anybody, even Man City. But he wasn't even in training ahead of that match against PSV Eindhoven in the Champions League. And there is a chance he misses out in Game Week 6. Let's keep an eye out for what Arteta says in his press conferences before you make a definitive action. But right now it looks like Martinelli is a sell because the fixtures are poor. Arsenal are near the bottom in terms of the FDR. I think they're in the bottom 5 actually. They face the likes of Man City at home very soon, and even though Arsenal face Bournemouth away and Sheffield United in the next 5, it might not be enough to justify keeping Martinelli, especially if you've already got another Arsenal attacker such as Bukayo Saka, who looks much more consistent. And last season, Martinelli had the best underlying numbers of any Arsenal player, but it isn't the case this time round. He's only got 9 shots, 3 on target, 8 shots inside the box. His XG is 0.66, so really poor numbers, no big chances and no big chances created, although if that goal had stood against Everton, maybe that would have changed, but still not good enough. And 4 key passes for the Brazilian. So a slow start for him, and also a very disappointing injury. Hopefully he is back very soon, but it's not looking good for Martinelli, and I'd probably sell him, but of course, wait for more updates from Mikel Arteta. The final sell of this video is Jordan Pickford, and you might be thinking, why is Onana a hold and Pickford's a sell when Pickford is cheaper? And my reasoning is because I trust Man United to keep clean sheets in the next few game weeks and also to turn things around. I don't have that same confidence in Everton, and I look at those next few games, and Luton and Bournemouth at home look really good, but I only see Luton as a clean sheet there for the Evertonians. And of course, things can change very quickly, and Everton put up a good fight against Arsenal, and their expected goals conceded number in that game wasn't particularly high, and it's actually lower overall compared to Man United, but they've conceded 12 big chances, and Jordan Pickford is more prone to going down in price yet again to 4.3 million, and I just don't really like Everton assets in general. If you actually go back to my videos from pre-season in the summer, I always said I don't trust Pickford at all, especially in the rating your teams videos, and he was someone I never understood why people went for, maybe because he was 4.5 million, but I just don't trust Everton. I didn't expect them to start the season so poorly, but at the same time, them keeping 0 clean sheets isn't the biggest surprise to me. And if you disagree, let me know, of course. They could keep more clean sheets. Football isn't played on paper. Maybe Everton will keep a clean sheet in a game we don't expect, like Brentford away. Who knows? But the way I'm looking at it, only 1 clean sheet over the next 5 game weeks. And if you can make a free transfer in the goalkeeper position, I would sell Jordan Pickford. The only issue, as I referred to earlier, is who do you go to? Maybe Flecken, Bernd Leno, Areola, Alisson, but there's not a clear standout in goal. So if you're not sure about which goalkeeper to go to, you could hold Pickford for the next 2 game weeks at least, and then wildcard around game week 8 or 9 once you have more information. But I still think if you can do so, I would sell Jordan Pickford because he's simply not good enough. We are now in the final section, the skips, and this is Leandro Trossard, the one who scored against Pickford in the last game. A fantastic goal, and with Martinelli potentially out injured, Trossard could get a run in the team, but I still think he'll come off early, even if he gets those starts. And it wouldn't surprise me if the likes of Reece Nelson got some starts or minutes, especially in the weeks coming up. Arsenal have a lot of games, such as PSV Eindhoven on Wednesday, the North London Derby at the weekend, and then Brentford in the Carabao Cup. So it's going to be a very intense schedule for them, just like with Man City. So Trossard for me is a skip, and the reason why is because I don't really think he is worth going for over Bukayo Saka, who's far more consistent, and Trossard could do well against absolutely anybody. He scored against Man City in the Community Shield final, and he's also scored some very clutch goals for Arsenal since signing for them in January. I think he's a quality player, very underrated, a fantastic technician, but I'd probably skip him. He is at 6.6 million, which looks like a bargain for an Arsenal midfielder, but I think he's very prone to being subbed off early. If you look back to his first start in the Premier League this season, which was against Fulham, actually his only start, he actually got subbed off at half-time when he produced a bit of a disappointing performance overall. So I don't really trust Trossard from a fantasy perspective, and I'd probably skip him. But of course, if you want to go for a differential, it's not the worst pick in the world. I think you could definitely do much worse than Leandro Trossard. He's got one goal already. His XGI is 0.84, but he's played limited minutes. So I think the numbers for maybe the shots, XGI, etc. are okay, considering he hasn't played too many minutes overall. He's got 11 points in Game Week 5, and he's definitely got that high ceiling with bonus points, and he can get goals plus assists. But I'd probably skip Leandro Trossard, and I don't think the fixtures for Arsenal are particularly great either. The 10th and final player covered today is Andrew Robertson. I think he is a good option long term, and I can see clean sheets in the next 5, maybe against West Ham United, Everton and Nottingham Forest. But in terms of these Liverpool defenders, I'd rather target them from Game Week 8 onwards, because over the next 3 in particular, I think Liverpool will concede to Tottenham and Brighton. They might win those games, but I also think they'll concede. But Robertson is certainly someone to pick out and maybe place on the radar and add to the watch list. I don't think he is a skip forever, just for the time being, even though I think they can keep a clean sheet against West Ham United. I just don't think over the next 3 it's worth going for Robertson, and you might have bigger priorities elsewhere, maybe a Newcastle defender, or maybe go for Mohamed Salah in the midfield, or other options like Julian Alvarez, who we discussed today. His ownership is 5.7%, so if you're looking for a differential, explosive defender, Robertson is a really good pick. He's got 1 goal, which he scored against Wolves in Game Week 5, 3 bonus points overall. His XGI is 0.77, which isn't great, but for a defender, it's not too bad, and he's got 23 FPL points overall. So I like Robertson. I'd mainly look at him from Game Week 8 onwards, when he's got Everton and Nottingham Forest back-to-back at home. But for the time being, I'd probably skip Robertson and most Liverpool defenders. So that's it. We've covered 10 players to buy, hold, sell and skip. What you can see on screen is DraftHound. There is a link in the description below to join them using my link. And as you can see here, they are suggesting to move Watkins to Alvarez. If you want to see my team selection, my transfer plans and my thinking ahead of Game Week 6, then be sure to check out the team selection video, which will come out on the channel very soon. And if you want to see a best wildcard team video, smash the like button of this video. Let's get this to over 300 likes, and let's keep on pushing towards new goals. We're already making great progress towards 21,000 subscribers, and we're looking to push on towards 25,000 and 30,000 eventually as well. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to support the channel, share this video around with those that love FPL, subscribe, smash the like button, all of that good stuff. And you can also become a patron or a channel member. So be sure to check out my Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and all the links in the description below, such as the FPL League and DraftHound. I'd highly recommend checking all those links there. I wish you all the best of luck for Game Week 6, and I hope you enjoy the Champions League and Premier League football, and I'll see you very soon.